He doesn't rule from a throne of gold, nor does he walk through the halls of a central bank. He needs no army, no mandate, no revolution, just a screen, a smirk, and exactly 280 characters. To the believers, he is a prophet half engineer, half messiah. But to those who listen more carefully, he is something older, something darker, a conjurer of dreams and dread. A man who discovered that in the modern world, value is not mind it, is tweeted. Elon Musk does not sell cars, he sells belief. The story begins, not in a lab, but in a desert of failed dot-coms and broken Wall Street promises. But all of them served a larger alchemy. They were symbols, not products. It soared because of theater, because in the middle of a financial desert, Elon Musk danced like a prophet around the bonfire of speculative faith. When he added #Bitcoin to his bio, crypto surged. When he laughed at Dogecoin, it became a fortune for some and ruin for others. He was no longer just a CEO. He had become something else, a financial medium, a priest in the cathedral of speculation. He did not invent volatility, but he learned how to perform it. His every word could send trillions into motion. Cryptocurrencies, tech giants, entire economies, they followed his rhythm. Their value was not in what they did, but in what people felt they could become. And every time belief began to tremble, he whispered to the world, in the form of a tweet. It begins with PayPal, where Musk first learned the power of digital momentum. Money could move faster than logic, and once it moved, it obeyed no one. From there, he built rockets, electric cars, brain chips, and more. Tesla's stock did not rise because of sales. When he tweeted funding secured in 2018, $14 billion vanished in a day. And the author, it was us. In the old days, wealth was extracted through steel, sweat, and empires. Now, it moves with attention, and no one commands more of it than him. While factories lagged behind and deadlines disintegrated into myth, his followers saw only the future. Martian colonies, sentient cars, neural salvation, and every missed milestone was repackaged as part of a grander myth, a cosmic detour on the road to destiny. Elon Musk became the gravity around which billions orbit, not by commanding resources, but by bending perception. As retail investors threw savings into Tesla stock and meme coins, Musk stood above it all's, milling, vanishing billions with a keystroke. And the a tired chorus, chasing shadows in a digital coliseum. Their fines were footnotes, their warnings, memes. He paid penalties like a magician, revealing part of the trick not because he had to, but because it made the show more believable. On belief, on chaos sculpted by character. A digital bazaar where value was no longer calculated, it was performed. It is not innovation he mastered, but timing. Not products, but narratives. But myths, too, have consequences. He understood the modern market better than anyone. It doesn't reward truth, it rewards narrative. And so he gave the people a story, a soap opera of space races and Twitter feuds, a modern-day Merlin with satellites and satellites of followers. Every move, every cryptic post, fed the machine. Meanwhile, the actual Musk economy reacted like a creature drugged with dopamine. Stocks inflated not because of profits, but because he breathed on them. Crypto collapsed, not because of logic, but because he blinked. Investors no longer sought fundamental, they sought proximity. Proximity to Musk. And in that space, between logic and spectacle, a new economy bloomed, not one built on resources, but reactions. And at the center, Musk Patmith stood with a smile, knowing he was no longer playing the game. He was designing it. But the trick, like all illusions, comes at a cost. For the audience, that cost was measured in savings lost, in sleepless nights, watching charts dance to the pulse of a billionaire's thumbs. For the magician, it was something deeper, an unraveling of self. Because when every whisper becomes prophecy, who is left to speak plainly? When you are no longer just a man but a market, when your thoughts can crash. Nations and mint millionaires, what do you believe in? What can you trust? When your very presence bends reality. Behind the smirk, the memes, and the flamethrowers, Musk became trapped in his own mythos. To disappoint would be to collapse the temple. To stop tweeting would be to kill the show. He was no longer performing for profit but for preservation, of influence, of illusion, of the fragile ecosystem that needed him more than it understood. And the markets became addicted. They needed his chaos, needed his riddles, his provocations, His digital coin flips, like addicts waiting for a fix. They checked their phones, prayed for volatility, because in a world numbed by inflation and debt, only Musk could still make money feel alive. Governments began watching, not with suspicion, but with caution. They understood that they were no longer the center of economic motion. Their policies paled next to a single tweet. Their currencies, slow, decaying machines, moved inches, while Musk's influence crossed oceans in seconds. The institutions that once scoffed at him now listened, quietly, nervously, wondering how a man could become a system, how attention, pure, irrational, weaponized attention, could destabilize fiat structures and reshape finance as theater. He didn't need a seat at Davos. He built his own arena, where the currency was clout and the treasury was Twitter. And while old bankers still talked of GDPs and interest rates, Elon spoke the new language: viral velocity, meme stock momentum, speculative faith, a language that millions understood and trillions obeyed. And yet, every magician fears one thing. The moment the audience stops clapping, the world Musk built of tweets and tremors, of futures traded on faith, cannot last forever. Belief is a fire, and even gods grow cold when the story dulls. The markets still moved, yes, but now there is hesitation, a flicker of fatigue. The spell wavers. Perhaps it was the chaos at Twitter, the crumbling of a platform he once controlled like a throne. Perhaps it was missed promises, erratic signals, or the slow realization that no man, no matter how clever, can outrun gravity forever. Even SpaceX must land. The system he crafted begins to creak under the weight of its own myth. Shareholders murmur, followers drift, new idols rise, but still, the magician performs. He must, because the moment he stops, the illusion collapses, the stage goes dark, and Musk becomes mortal again. This is not a story of good or evil. It is the story of a new kind of power, power born not from armies or ballots, but from eyes, from followers, from screens that never blink. In this world, attention is currency, and spectacle is sovereign. Elon Musk did not seize control of the markets. He seduced them, not with lies, but with possibility. He promised nothing, and made it feel like everything. He did not print money. He made belief more valuable than gold. But now, the question haunts every investor, every regulator, every ordinary soul who once bought in. What happens when the dreamer awakens? Or worse, what if he doesn't? And we're still dreaming. The stage remains. The lights flicker. The world holds its breath. And somewhere, deep in the glow of another midnight tweet, the magician smiles. The show, after all, must go on.